Welcome back to another episode of SSD Mythbusters, where every episode we take on a myth in the world of Social Security disability law. We present it to our Social Security disability attorney, Josh Worley, and let him either prove it to be true, busted, give us some important information to know more about that topic. My name's Jeremy Worley. Josh, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
We're going to pick up on a prior episode. Today's topic is, if my doctor says I'm disabled, I'll be approved. What say you?
Well, there's the bottom line is that is false. Just because your doctor says that you are disabled doesn't mean that Social Security will necessarily approve you. Having said that, though, in my previous episode, I talked about the fact that the way that Social Security determines you're disabled is partly about looking at what your day-to-day limitations are with sitting, standing, walking, your ability to concentrate, focus, everything that you have to do to be able to maintain a full-time job. Because with Social Security disability, you're saying that you are not able to maintain a full-time job because of your health. Now, the main thing that you have to do to prove that you would have issues with those things is doctor's notes, doctor's records, treatment with your doctors. Everything that you claim to Social Security that you say is a reason why you're not able to work has to be in your medical records as well. The more paper trail you have, the more records you have with doctors and specialists, then the better your chances are of getting approved. Because just because you say something is an issue doesn't mean that Social Security will believe it. They will look to your medical records to see what your records say as well. What are you telling your doctors, and what are the records saying? And so, and one of the things that we do in our office that is really helpful is if we can get a treating physician to complete a questionnaire or write a letter on our client's behalf, then that's a hugely beneficial thing for the case. And it can be very important. It doesn't necessarily mean just because the doctor has done that it's an automatic, Social Security is going to approve me the minute they get that letter or that questionnaire. No, but it can make a huge difference on the success of a case.
How does Social Security weigh that? So let's just say someone's at a hearing level and they're before a judge and they have a letter, which you've said is persuasive. Mm-hmm. What else does the court possibly do in that situation? It maybe the judge is on the fence. What other factors come into play as a court's trying to make that determination for disability in addition to maybe just a letter from a doctor?
Well, really, besides just a letter from a doctor or a questionnaire, they're going to look for consistent treatment. So you don't want to be, if you're claiming a disability, going to the doctor once every 6 months or once a year or something like that, that is not enough. You need to have consistent treatment for whatever it is that's causing you issues. If your health requires or really needs a specialist, so maybe you've got arthritis, you need to have a rheumatologist. Anything that you are claiming, it is incredibly important, helpful to have a specialist in that area as well that you're seeing. But consistent medical treatment that's confirming everything you're claiming with Social Security and your disability claim is really important. Those are things that are absolutely necessary to be successful.
I think that may be surprising to some people to hear just the significance of those records, because I think for some might say, I hate going to the doctor. They don't do me any good. I don't feel any different. And yet we know from some of the prior information you gave us, 30% of people get approved, 70% don't get approved initially.
Right.
I would imagine the role of doctors and just that part of the whole process is a significant roadblock for some that just haven't been to the doctor.
Yeah, 100%. That is exactly right. Unfortunately, we will commonly get calls in our office from someone that's looking into filing for disability, or maybe they have and they're in the midst of an appeal. And we'll talk about, one of the first questions we ask our potential clients is, okay, who are your doctors? What are you doing? Who all are you seeing? How often are you going? And if it doesn't matter, even if you have something that is a major health issue, if you're not going to the doctor consistently, then you are not going to get approved. You've got to have that proof of what you've got going on. And so 100%, you absolutely have to have your doctors. You have to have consistent treatment. And if you're not, then you should start it, and you should work and do your very best to get it going.
One question that comes to my mind then is, can someone possibly be approved even if they don't have the letter from their doctor?
Yes, for sure. There are many occasions where a treating physician does not want to fill out a questionnaire, does not want to write a letter. For whatever reason, they're just not interested in doing that. And that happens all the time. We absolutely have situations where a treating doctor will just flat out says it's a policy in our office that we will not complete this, and that's all right. That does not mean that you're going to lose your case. Even more important than just a letter or a questionnaire is consistent medical treatment over time.
Okay, good stuff. So our takeaway is just we've learned the importance of consistent medical treatment, even for those that hate going to the doctor or may not even feel like they're benefiting. Sometimes you have to play the game. You have to do what it takes to ultimately prove up your disability, and the doctors play a significant role. So this one is busted. It doesn't mean you're going to be approved just because your doctor wrote you a letter, but it is going to be highly persuasive and to your great benefit. So definitely continue to see your doctors and be consistent with that. That's going to help a lot in your case. So hopefully this has been helpful. Give us a follow. We're going to continue doing episodes like this. If you need help on your individual case, Josh handles cases all over the country. We're at the Injury and Disability Law Center. You can find us at idlawcenter.com. We got all kinds of content, videos, and information that you might find helpful. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.